An Indianapolis man is charged with stealing mail and running an elaborate scheme to rip off local businesses. The charges come after 13 investigators exposed how criminals steal checks out of the mail and then use mobile banking to empty your bank account. Bob Siegel shows you why federal investigators say this was an inside job carried out inside a local post office.
These are the first four.
Last year, 13 investigators introduced you to business owners across Indianapolis who lost thousands of dollars because of stolen checks.
4 checks was $12,000.
3 checks for a total of $21,000 we lost.
Rob Fine and Howard Wilson say their checks were stolen right out of the mail, and someone changed the names. Just look at that check. The altered name and address were literally cut and pasted onto the document, and yet a bank still cashed it.
I mean, as far as con jobs go, this isn't even a good one.
It's ridiculous. I don't know how it ever got past anyone.
The big question, how did those checks get stolen, and who's responsible? Federal investigators think they now know the answer, and it points here to this post office in Indianapolis and an elaborate scheme allegedly carried out by a post office supervisor.
According to an indictment filed in U.S. federal court, Postal Supervisor James Lancaster stole at least 258 pieces of mail containing checks from the new Augusta post office branch on the northwest side. Investigators say he then gave those checks to 2 accomplices who live in Chicago, and they doctored the checks so they could be cashed by someone else. The indictment says Lancaster was provided cash in exchange for the checks. And altogether, the stolen checks from local businesses totaled about $1.7 million.
So thrilled that they finally did make an arrest.
Fine is relieved to hear charges have been filed against the people now accused of turning his business operations upside down. But he's very angry with the post office.
To find out it's one of the supervisors as well, incredibly frustrating.
The defendants, including Lancaster, have all been arrested. According to an affidavit filed in federal court, Lancaster admitted to stealing mail last June and resigned as a post office customer service manager 2 days later. Court records allege Lancaster then continued to steal mail even after he left the post office, returning to his former workplace and entering restricted areas to look for more mail that contained checks and valuable items. The former postal worker is now charged with conspiracy to commit bank fraud and theft of mail. His 2 accomplices are facing multiple counts of bank fraud.
Although at this point,
despite the arrests, victims say their confidence in the post office is still shaken.
Do I use that post office ever again? No. No way. I'm not ever going to trust that post office again.
A trial for some of the defendants is set to begin next month. If convicted, they face up to 30 years in prison and possibly millions of dollars in fines. We did reach out to the post office. They have no comment on the case.